I know I'm not gonna make a lot of friends when I make this video, but to be quite honest, I really just can't take the stress of trying to accept the fact that Equestria Ghost is really good, when in reality, it just takes forever and forever to prove that. So as if you know, it's been like 4 years since Rainbow Rocks came out, and after that, Less Princess Twilight, and the show got really more lackluster. Okay, before any of you guys completely dislike this video, hear me out. This video is mainly about how lackluster Equestria Ghost has been. And I might talk about My Little Pony, but at the same time, since that show is coming to an end this year, and this show is going to continue on, which is pretty much the only thing the Brony fandom has to deal with until Generation 5 comes out, I decided I should at least make this video just in case. Now, before any of you ask, I didn't change my opinions about my trust video about Equestria Ghost, because, to be quite honest, that was during the time where I wasn't really close to the show, and I really didn't have anything much to do. I mean, I still had to record something off of my computer screen. I really had to edit out my stuttering and stuff, which I do lessly because, well, apparently I'm starting to improve into talking into more detail into one take, even if I stutter most of the time. But in July, when we got the information that, well, I'll get to later, I'm starting to get some more hope into Equestria Ghost again, and I'm starting to get more subscribers than I used to. Last year, I had like about 200, but then right now, I completely got 500 subscribers, which I am completely happy and really impressed due to my uploads of Equestria Ghost videos, since most people don't usually talk about Equestria Ghost that much. Well, mainly the spin-off series, that is. So what I'm going to be talking about is how lackluster this franchise has become. Now, we all know that the first movie wasn't really good, considering the fact that it was taking so many cliches, but the sequel came along, and it was a massive improvement, even if some people really didn't like it. But here's the thing, when you completely put all your effort into Rainbow Rocks, and then you have the option to continue, you have this scary feeling that you won't be able to top of what you have done. Equestria Ghost is the definition of how underwhelming and completely lackluster it is. Let's get into Friendship Games, which I did review, and I kind of liked it, and I can understand that it's trying to be its own thing, but it's way, way too early to be its own thing way too quickly. Granted, Rainbow Rocks was the last movie, well, they had to use Princess Twilight, so they had to use Sky Twi, but after that, it just isn't the same. I know it's supposed to be a good thing, and to be honest, Friendship Games and Legend of Everfree can really work out as a spin-off series on itself. But considering the fact that it's a spin-off series and we don't get much information about Equestria Ghost itself, my god, it's going to be way difficult to take this spin-off series very seriously. If you haven't remembered, I did my review of the Magical Movie Night, which is all 3 specials, and they really didn't continue anything. And it also didn't work out as 22 minutes. And I think that they work a lot better for an hour movie. And after that, when they decide to do a digital series, it kind of works, but at the same time, it still pauses the continuation of Equestria Ghost. Let's keep in mind that in Legend of Everfree, which is 2 years ago, they started to discover this leaky magic from the statue, but instead, we get a special that is based off a book, and then another about shipping. Now, to be fair, Forgotten Friendship kind of works because apparently people want to see Sunset Shimmer and Princess Celestia reuniting, which is probably the whole reason onto why Forgotten Friendship exists in the first place. But after February comes July, which I still cannot waste my time into watching Roller Coaster of Friendship. For this being a half-year-old, it still doesn't age whatsoever. And it's probably one of the worst things that Equestria Girls has ever done. The comedy was really poor, the pacing was poor, and this being the 44-minute special really didn't work out completely. People may defend it because it ships royalty and Applejack, and it shouldn't take itself seriously because, again, it's being its own thing, but that's the biggest problem. That's the underwhelming thing of what Equestria Girls is going through. They completely reuse ideas so many times that it gets really repetitive, and completely, this being aware of what it's doing makes it completely worse. I just can't stand stuff like that. I know that people may argue that older people like me are taking this stuff really seriously, and there were some people that the reason why they had to make stuff completely lackluster is because parents are completely complaining that the fact that the characters are getting scary, like the Dazzlings or the Sirens. But they look okay. I mean, they're not they are intimidating, but they're not completely scary. So I think that reusing the same idea of forgiveness as friendship is really redundant. I did make a fanfic about that, but that's a different story. This is really involves the fact that they're really trying to reuse ideas in order to make Equestria Girls its own thing, which really doesn't work. And it doesn't really change the fact that they really made most of the characters mostly hateable, and made some of the characters like Sunset Shimmer went through a very torturous special, which was in Forgotten Friendship. I know that there were some people who worked on the earlier movies of Equestria Girls who left, which probably explains onto why why the show isn't really the same. But it really doesn't work like that. I mean, here's the thing. Here's the tone that they did in Rainbow Rocks. They did take itself seriously, and even though there were some things that I didn't like, it didn't go completely out of the mind that this is completely normal and stuff. It may be one of the first movies that they did, but they really made the main six completely overpowered. I mean, in Rainbow Rocks, they wouldn't because they were up to a challenge, but after Legend of Everfree, they completely take down anything that they ever encountered, which really makes them completely overpowered, and they really don't do anything much, which really makes most of the moments in this really lackluster and really difficult for me to like. And this also includes Forgotten Friendship. Believe me. As much as I give this episode a really high score because it kind of deserves it, I still don't want to waste my time into watching it because of the lackluster and underwhelming ideas that this show has really going through. I mean, they barely used Spike in this, and they really made the characters in Forgotten Friendship really selfish, and the ending, which kind of works, is way too forced. I just can't stand it. It just goes way too ahead, and it really doesn't really work. It's probably one of the ideas that the writers really don't know what to continue on with Equestria Girls. Now, here's an example. Shrek 2. In the first movie was really good, but the sequel completely improved it really improvedly. So, if you watch Rainbow Rocks, you can pretty much know that Shrek 2 is the same level of greatness, even though you can say that Shrek 2 is better than Rainbow Rocks. But then again, well, my point is that they put a lot of effort into Shrek 2, but since that some people have left and they completely have everything they got, the third movie was a huge disappointment. The humor wasn't really that good, the plot was way too predictable and really lazy, And I did watch this movie, and I really didn't enjoy it. It was completely boring, and most of the comedy in this just... It just doesn't work. It really doesn't. And as for Forever After, it was kind of better, but it's not better than the first or second movie. The biggest problem with franchises like Equestria Ghost and Shrek is how they completely don't know how to continue or to make a franchise out of it, so they have to reuse ideas, which is kind of the same problem with friendship games. I mean, I can understand that they're trying to make Equestria Ghost its own thing, but it's way too early for that. Like, having Princess Twilight out of the picture after that she said that this is goodbye until next time until Rainbow Rocks, which has still been a thing since Rainbow Rocks, and people are still ignoring that quote. I'm sorry, I can't get over that. I'm serious. It just really... Stuff like this just really shows that they need to make sequels in order to make a franchise going. Now let's get into the Sonic franchise. Now, you can say all you want that Unleash is a really mixed opinion game, but they're trying to be completely different, and this is kind of like Rainbow Rocks does. They tried to do something different, and it worked. That's why some people like Cooper Castile really enjoyed Sonic Unleashed, because it's completely different, and they tried to do new things, and the boosting formula was a vast improvement over the adventure formula from Sonic 06. I did play Sonic Unleashed on the Xbox 360, and I really enjoyed it so much, even though it was way too difficult. But that's the whole point. Difficult games is supposed to be really good. But then Sonic Colors came in. I did beat the game, but I really didn't enjoy it because of so many 2D stuff, and the fact that, well, it didn't have a lot of 3D stuff. And the fact that they changed everything... I understand that I can be easily on the board of which people can agree with the most, but I played Sonic Colors before, and I really failed miserably. I know I'm not really good at Sonic games, but at the same time, this really bored me more than Sonic Unleashed. I just think that Sonic Unleashed was way better because they put a lot of effort into it, but due to the fan base, which I have to admit, it's probably one of the worst fan bases I have ever seen from any other franchise, they really overlook it and think that 2D Sonic is pretty much the only way Sonic games should be like. Now as for Generations, it's obviously an anniversary game, so I can easily forgive the fact that it's trying to take itself really safe. And I will admit that I really enjoy the ideas and returning levels, but I really wish that this game was way longer. Both Colors and Generations are really short. Unleashed was like 4 or 5 hours long, which really works if you have different gameplay styles. But Colors and Generations are way too short, to the point that it may be replayable, but I don't have a PC Generations. I just have an Xbox 360. So I'm really stuck to the situation of playing the old the old modern stages repeatedly again and again. Which kind of feels really disappointing and kind of jealous that I don't have a PC, but it's way too expensive, so yeah. Then there's Forces. Now, I didn't play Forces, and I did not play the Adventure games, but I did saw reviews of it, and even if I get the chance to play it, I know that I'm not going to like it. Believe me, the levels are way too short. I mean, I think they're trying to take the ideas of what they did in Sonic Colors, that some of the acts are really short, which is also fun, but it really didn't work out completely because since this is made for the PS4 and Xbox One, nothing is really improved. It just feels really downside and really lackluster. I mean, this is better than Sonic Boom, Rise of Lyric, but there's really no improvement whatsoever. I mean, they still have the boost formula, which looks really dumbed down. The character, the OC, while is probably the most original thing that has ever come from this video game, isn't really something I really think that is worth replaying. And classic Sonic is just very unplayable. I mean, coming back to Generations, I did found Generation Classic Sonic to be okay, considering the fact that I'm not a fan of the Generation game, to the Genesis games, but the fact that they really designed Classic Sonic completely uncontrollable and completely hard to play through and making them one of the longest levels really shows that the 2D Sonic needs to end, and they should really make Monarch Sonic completely fully 3D. Adventure 2, Heroes, and Sonic 06 are the only games when they have fully 3D gameplay. I know Sonic 06 was the reason that they had to do the boosting gameplay, but I think that even though I haven't played the Sonic Adventure games, I still plan on playing them in order to have the experience on 3D Sonic should be played at. I mean, Unleashed was the boosting gameplay was born in 3D. Generations was on the Wii, so I can't really judge it on both consoles because Wii is much more limited. In Generations, it's mostly better than Unleashed, considering the fact that they improved the gameplay, but I think this is to the point that the boosting gameplay should come to an end. There's probably a reason onto why Lost World has a different gameplay style, because they wanted to do something different. And I did play the 3DS version, and I actually kind of enjoyed it. But the fact that they returned the boosting gameplay, I think that was probably a bad idea, and it really shows. Especially since that this game is a year old, and considering the fact that we're not getting a fully CGI Sonic movie, I think that the next Sonic game is probably not going to happen for the next 4 years or so. Anyway, before I can continue, there's something I need to talk about SpongeBob. I know that the battle seasons are over, but I really don't want to waste my time into watching newer seasons, because while I will admit that I'm missing out, I'm still getting sick of it. And even though this is supposed to be SpongeBob special month, I still have mixed opinions about that. So when I release the final review of SpongeBob special month, you might understand. Anyway, let's get back to Equestria Goers. I think that everything that I show, it really shows that they're really onto the point that they're in a pickle and they don't know how to continue Equestria Goers. And they're literally dragging this out with the leaking magic thing that's been going on for 2 years. And considering the fact that some of the wires who left really makes Equestria Goers not the same like it used to be. I will forgive the fact that they're trying to be its own thing, but My Little Pony is coming to an end this year. And then after that, Equestria Goers is all they got until Generation 5 comes. And considering the fact that Equestria Goers had been going on from November to October, they're really going to be in a very situation when Season 2 comes to an end. I will admit, though, I can understand that they're trying to put a lot of effort because there's going to be 10 songs and several music videos in Season 2, and they're trying to put a lot of effort since it's basically all they have for Generation 4. But when you really think about it, you know that they're rehashing ideas. I checked videos and GIFs, whatever you call them, and they completely shows that they're reusing ideas constantly. If you see right here, which is actually kind of working out, considering the fact that I want to see 2 Twilights talking to each other, and hopefully having Princess Twilight returning into the human world, but at the same time, They were using ideas because they really got nothing else to do. And it really doesn't help that Princess Twilight isn't really aware of any of the situation after Rainbow Rocks. I'm sorry, but you can't just easily move on with last century, moving on with his life. You can't just move on because of forcement. You just can't. I mean, this is the problem I have with Adventure Time. When you literally have something, and then when you completely in a predicament, when you decide to, you know what, we can't do this, we're gonna move on with it, it just doesn't work. It just really makes, you're really making life really miserable to the point that it just really makes Flash Century way more sad and way more depressing. Yes, he may be happy in the Season 2 trailer, but to be honest, if I was Princess Twilight, I would probably be aware of this and probably have some kind of purpose in this whole situation. Now, to be fair, though, watching the Spring Break special again, some of the screenshots of the Spring Break special, and that it's cloudy, and seeing some of the old screenshots that we got from July of 2018, I'm actually really relieved. Why? Because this is one of the original footage that we got from the Comic-Con, and it really shows that Rainbow Dash isn't wearing a hat. She isn't wearing her original form, and it's still cloudy out. And in the footage, they somehow change back into their normal clothes for some reason. I don't understand why. Maybe this is probably during part 1, I think. I don't know if this is during part 1. I think the special is going to start with the girls getting on the cruise, and then the second part is going to be when they change clothes immediately. And then the second part is going to end with them going into the human wards and stuff, to Equestria and stuff like that. I mean, this spring special, more screenshots I've seen, really questions of what's going to happen. I think that what they're going to do is that they're going to open up like they did in Forgotten Friendship, and with a musical number, and they want to enjoy their vacation, but with the serious situation of what they're doing, like the staff in the movie, I've got a feeling that this could be something that Legend of Everfree did. Like, it cannot top of what Rainbow Rocks did, but it can still be an improvement over Rollercoaster Friendship. I mean, Forgotten Friendship was good, but Rollercoaster Friendship was really poor, and I think that of what they're trying to do for the cruise special, since that we see cloudy stuff in this, and then we see cloudy stuff in the screenshot, I think that this is basically the first or second half of the special. As much as I'm really afraid that this is going to be a 44-minute special and not a movie, I still think that they're still hiding more surprises. Because again, they said unexpected guesses in the trailer. So keep this in mind. I think that the unexpected guesses could be involving the ones from Equestria. And if they really need some serious help from the whole staff thing, I'm pretty sure that, they need, of course, Princess Twilight's help. Now they kind of did pony up and use their dual powers, but for my theory and my prediction, they probably tried to stop the staff, but they completely failed. And maybe they probably wear the cruise party uniforms, and then when they see the staff, they completely use it to stop the thing. But apparently, it completely backfired on them, So when they changed back into the norm stuff, they went back to the clothes. So I'm assuming they have the abilities to change into different clothes magically, I think. So I got a feeling that there's no commercial cutout in part 2 when they had to change clothing at the end of part 2. So I think that the magic of the droids completely changed. I got a feeling that they're not going to do the same idea that they did in Roller Coaster Friendship, where they had to use the friendship is magic thing and forgiveness is a friendship thing. Because even though that we didn't see any new characters, what I mean by that is the main antagonist of this, I still think that they should probably do something really serious on figuring out what the magic is coming from. I mean, sure, they're okay with it, and Sunset even mentioned that they show that they see magical situations in friendship games. But I pretty much know for sure that of the cloudy sky, the characters forcing to go to the other world because they really have no other choice, especially on a cruise special on the deserted island. I got a feeling that they're probably going to do something that they kind of did in Forgotten Friendship. They had that fan service of Sunset and Princess Celestia meeting each other after for so long. And with this idea, they really need someone else's help. And I think that the unexpected guest probably involves the staff that they need to take care of. Otherwise, they won't be able to save their vacation. This is why I think that this could be the turning point of what Equestria can do for Season 2. Believe me, even if that Rainbow Dash might have some kind of a purpose, I still think that this is mainly the fact that Twilight Sparkle is going to have the spotlight, since that she really didn't have the spotlight since Legend of Everfree. I'm sorry, but I still think that having other characters being in the spotlight that isn't Twilight or Sunset really doesn't really work. Believe me, it didn't work for me in Roller Coaster Friendship, so what made you think that it's going to work the same thing here? I mean, granted, I don't have a problem with the shipping in this, but it's just that it's so forced in Roller Coaster Friendship. And I really doubt that it will ever improve again if they keep doing this. What makes the Oreo movies work is that they completely have some kind of focus. In Forgotten Friendship, they did have that, but in Roller Coaster Friendship, they didn't. And even though that the Friendship Cruise doesn't really have much of a focus, considering the fact that they're on a cruise automatically, kind of like how they went to Everfree Forest in Legend of Everfree. But considering the fact that they're going to the Pony World for some help, I really have to admit that they're trying to take itself way more seriously. Since that they're really trying to have some references and probably some comedic ideals. I know it's really crazy, but considering the fact that this show and My Little Pony has done a lot of crazy things, why do you really need to question it? They completely do the same cliches over and over again. And what's next other than they find out that the magic is leaking, that the statue is leaking magic? Just really. There may be some other ideals and a possible way to actually make this work. But for me watching this, I think that they really want to at least put some kind of effort into Friendship Cruise. Because if it doesn't, then apparently it will probably go downhill. I mean, they might do some other ideals like Sunset going through that camp situation when they had to go through that choose your own adventure thing. And there might be a movie this year with the information that we got. But if they don't continue of what really happened and they really don't do anything to make Equestria Girls improve, then I'm not gonna waste my time into watching this. I'm only doing this because because it's really harmless, but at the same time, it takes itself way too safe. For the wrong reasons. Anyway, I hope you guys really enjoy this video. And I just really hope that people will easily understand of what I'm going through when I make Equestria Girls videos. And I'm still going to make Equestria Girls short reviews if I can, but at the same time, I just don't know if I have any other ideas for what Equestria Girls can do. I mean, I'm still having some hopes, and I am going to react to the special and upload it to my Google Drive to make a link video on YouTube so people can watch it on my Google Drive and comment it there. But keep this in mind, what you're going to see in my reaction video is my true opinions. I'm just trying to be as nice as possible, and I really don't want to upset everyone, but that doesn't really give it but I still have my own opinions on some other things. Like Cooper Castell has been telling people to not go into the group of people that you should enjoy. And you should at least express your opinions onto everyone. Kind of like some comedy Johnny say that I don't make videos on people experiment on the material. I make videos on my experience on the material that I talk about. That's the whole purpose of making videos. Personal opinions. And bringing up ideas is really important. Because if people who might see this video, basically from Hasbro, even though if they aren't, which is a very 0% chance that they will, they might be able to listen and actually understand that they need to put Equestria Girls back to its roots. Not really back to Princess Twilight returning like in every other special, but at least have the same charm that it did in the movies that they did. Because watching the specials and some of the shorts and the information that we got, I'm really having mixed opinions on it. Even if some of you guys really enjoy it in your own way, just keep this in mind that this is still Season 2, and even if Season 2 is while they're trying to make some improvements over Season 1, which is the songs that they have, because there's probably like less songs in Season 1, and they're putting in a lot of songs in Season 2. I think that they're just probably focusing on the songs and most of the other characters. So I just really having some hope that, for the very least, I hope that Friendship Cruise could be the redemption that Equestria Girls can have. Because Sunset Shimmer had redemption, Equestria Girls can do the same thing here. I know that this is going to be really, really, really important for me to react to something for any of you guys can watch. Because when I upload that reaction, once it comes out on my Google Drive, and you watch the entire thing, you might understand, and you might understand of what the review is going to be like if any of the stuff that I'm looking forward to isn't going to happen. I really got nothing else to say. Comment down below on what you think, and I want to thank everyone for making me reach to 800 subscribers. I really hope I manage to make 1,000 this year. I'm Lonely Fanboy 4 here, and I'll see you next time.